Hello everyone, welcome to this new video of Hearts of Iron 4. Today in tutorial episode 2. Now, first things first, this is a beginner tutorial. If you're looking for a more advanced tutorial, then this is not the tutorial for you. This will simply be too easy. I'm going over all of the basic stuff that you need to know to understand and to play Hearts of Iron 4. Also, if you like these type of videos, like, subscribe, and well, comment if you have any questions. So, let's immediately begin. Let's go to single player, and this should all be quite easy for you. New game, and we usually start in this scenario, 1936, not 1939. 1939 is, well, a bit too late to have any real impact on the game. So we're just going to play as 1936. Now, the first things, which I probably didn't explain in my last tutorial, if I did, then, well, comment on that, is major nations and minor nations. Now, what are major nations? Because you hear this term quite a lot. So, well, what are major nations? All of the nations displayed here are major nations, like France, United States, United Kingdom, German Reich, Italy, Japan, and Soviet Union, and all of the nations over here, and actually all nations that are in these 7 nations, are minor nations. Though that means that these major nations have a big impact on, well, the game. Minor nations do not. Generally, minor nations cannot do a lot in the game. Now, major nations can. I mean, especially in multiplayer games, this is really important. Because if, for example, the Axis have a very bad Germany, well, that means that one major nation is already gone. And there's only Italy and Japan are left, and really that will have a tremendous impact on the game. And also, nearly always, if you want to play as in single player mode, then you pick a major nation, because otherwise the game is not a lot of fun, because you won't have as much impact on the game. So well, let's now pick another country for once, okay, shall we? Let's pick the Soviet Union for once. I mean, for what I want to explain in this video, it doesn't really matter which one I pick. I could also pick Italy. Yeah, let's go to the wine gods of Italy. Or does Italy not have wine? Italy does have wine, don't they? I don't know. Well, let's just go to Italy. So there we are in the game. Also, by the way, I remembered it. Italy does have some wine, but they are mainly known for their certain types of cheese and a certain olives. Olives are very, very famous, I think. Yes. Now, let's continue where we were. I didn't explain this row yet, and this is an extremely important row. So we're going to talk about this row over here in this game. In this tutorial, excuse me, going to talk a bit about the time thing isn't that complicated and all this. We're going to talk a bit about this here. Also, we're going to talk a bit about the diplomacy screen, and with that I mean this, what all this does. We're also going to talk about the research tree a bit more in depth, because I noticed that I lacked a bit of information in my last tutorial in episode 1. So I will be adding to your knowledge. At least I hope I do. So first things first, political power. Now, just hover over it and you can see a lot of information on these things. You don't have to click. By just hovering over it, you can see that there's political power. Now, why is political power important? You can get advisors for political power. And you can also do certain types of diplomacies for political power. And I think there are a bit more things, but less important. Most important things are these require political power, and decisions that require a lot of political power. Political power is thus very important because they make up, they make sure that you can get a good and well-functioning government in country overall. Now you can see here that power change is 1.97 per day. Base value is 2, and we get a bit less from stability. So, well, the more stable your country is, the more political power you get. Also, what affects your political power is picking a national focus. So if you pick a national focus here, let's just say Ethiopian water logistics, then you can see that our political power per day drops by 1. That's not extremely bad. It's okay. About 1 political power a day is a bit. It's okay. Let's just call it that. It's okay. Countries particularly known for the amazing amounts of political power, Germany. So yeah, well, political power. That's it's important. It's an important thing. You can get a lot of political advisors and all that with political power. Stability, also incredibly important. The lower your stability gets, the less your whole country starts to function. That's kind of the thing. What affects stability? War, as you can see, but also your ruling party popularity. So that's over here, as you can see. Our fascist Benito Mussolini is leading the country, and he has a majority in the parliament or something of 76%, or at least just popularity and overall. And you can see, as long as you have more than the half of the popularity, we'll get about 11.40%. Well, of course, this is exponential. So if you have 100% of popularity, then of course you get more percentage of ruling party popularity. That's also affected. Victor Emmanuel III, that is this one, also has some stability. There are multiple things that can add stability, but also can decrease stability. You can also see, since we have 46% stability, which is negative, 50% is neutral, and you kind of want to be above the 50%. You can see that we get some nerfs, political power gain -1%, factory output, dockyard output, and resistance to target on occupied territories, also negative. All negative effects from our negative stability. So you want to keep your stability up as well. War support, you can also see that gets affected quite a bit. Now, war support and stability, you can also add some via decisions. You can see here, emergency factory conversion, women in the workforce, war bonds, all things. Here also political actions, a lot that affect stability and war support. Also, war support is incredibly important when you are waging war or want to wage war. It's incredibly important, otherwise you don't really have to care a lot about it. If you're not at war, let's say you're the United States, you don't have to care a lot about the war support in the beginning, because you're not at war in the beginning. You want to build it up slowly, yes, but it's not that important for now. Now, as Germany, you're going to have a lot of wars incredibly soon, so you want to have a lot of war support, because as you can see, it has some effects on your armies: mobilization speeds, division attack, division defense, daily command power. We'll get to the command power soon. Manpower, probably one of the most important things when we're talking about war. Why? If you're out of manpower, you can make new divisions, and the divisions that you do have on the battlefield slowly get killed, because you're losing manpower day by day, and the divisions will eventually be understaffed, and they will die, and your army will shrink. And you can also see that core population manpower is 2.50%. Those are really only important numbers. The eligible core population, non-core maybe a bit. But you can see that we're on limited conscription, which gives us 2.50%. Now, if you're out of manpower, which is completely reasonable, that can perfectly happen. That's normal, being out of manpower. Just what you have to do is go to this one in laws of and government, and go a bit one lower. Extensive conscription, go to 5%. Alright, let's just do that. Alright, let's just see. Now if you go to this one, the extensive conscription, you can see that we get a debuff or a nerf of 10% extra training time. So we want to postpone this as long as we can, until we are pretty low on manpower and we kind of have to go to another conscription. Now the manpower is not immediately added. We have to wait a few days, weeks, and even months, and it eventually slowly starts to kind of like raindrops. It starts to trickle in. As you can see, at 2.50%, and slowly we will go to about 2.60%. you can see that we're mobilizing at 0.90009% a day. So yeah, now we're on 2.60%, and you can see we have a bit more manpower, and slowly goes to the 5% where it will stop. Factories, I don't usually look a lot of at this number, but it's well, if you want to know how many factories you do have, then this is a very easy number. Well, it kind of explains itself. It shows all the factories that you have and also what kind of factories. Fuel, incredibly important. If you're out of fuel, you'll not be able to do a lot of naval missions. Your air missions will soon fail, and your divisions will be weakened, especially mechanized and armored divisions. Now you can see here how much fuel we currently have, how much would we daily gain, and how much our fuel capacity is. And you can also see what our current consumption is and our maximum consumption. Especially as heavily mechanized and heavily armored armies, which again is Germany. I talk a lot about Germany in this video, even though we're Italy, but whatever. Would have been a bit better to pick Germany, I guess, again. But especially as Germany, this is an incredibly important number. Also as the United Kingdom, because you have a lot of naval. As Italy, probably as well. But as the Soviet Union, for example, a lot less. So yeah, keep this in mind. Just keep the number green, okay? If it becomes red, it will show you like 60 days or something. That means 60 days until you run out. So that means get some oil very quickly. And now how can you make more fuel? It's either by trading oil, get some oil from other countries, which is a quick solution, especially when you're in war, or make more synthetic refineries if you have the oil upgrade, which is in the research tab. Go to here, industry, and this one. If you have the oil processing, then get this one, or you need to get fuel silos, which is also a pretty good one. But you have to build those. So the quickest way, if you're in desperate need, is just to trade your civilian factories for oil from other countries. This one, convoys, I never look at this one, to be honest. I think I have never have. Maybe a few times, but it's not that important in my opinion. But oh, here you have the amount of convoys that you have. I guess it's good to look at, especially for transferring troops and for naval invasion. Then it can be very useful. Otherwise, nah, I don't really look at it that much. Command power, excuse me. Command power. Current command power daily gain is 0.63. Now what can you do with command power? Let's make an army. Here we go. The most useful thing is to give your leaders these type of traits. I like to call them medals, but they're traits. And how do you get these traits unlocked? Because now they're locked. It's by either by doing whatever the trait requires, really. If you want a panzer expert, then you need to give this guy a lot of panzers and let him wage war with those panzers, and then slowly this will get unlocked. Desert fox, well, go to the desert. Winter specialist, well, do something over here in this area, basically. So that's generally how you unlock those, and what you can do with command power. Army experience is very important, incredibly. From all the experiences, army experience is the most important. Oh, so I'm back. My game crashed. So well, we're just going to continue now, okay? We left at army experience. Army experience is important for divisions when you want to edit your divisions. You go over here, and when, let's say, we want to make these 20 wivs. I'll make a division explanation video also, but not now. We want to say we need 20 experience. So if you want to edit our divisions, we need that army XP. Now how can you get army XP? It's by either just waging war or fighting or whatever, sending volunteer divisions. Or by doing this, getting them into an army, which I explained in the last video, and put them on exercising. Now they will slowly, if you can see here, yes, from army exercises get a little bit of XP. And we'll slowly start seeing that figure go up. Navy experience. Well, let's just let me take a boat. Let me make a boat, and as you can see here, we have this thing, and we can create variants. Now we can add heavy batteries, like this. I think this might be a certain type of DLC. Man the guns. It might be the man the guns DLC, but I don't exactly know. But you get naval experience the same way you get the army experience, just by either exercising or by fighting. So you can create variants that are slightly better. And air experience is the same as the boats, really, or the ships. You go to the aircraft and you can also create variants, and this goes a bit less in depth, but as you can see, you can add, and the higher the number, the better it gets, and the more air experience you need to pay. Now I want to talk a bit about the speed thing. This is past, this is play, and the higher this number goes, the faster it goes. That's really all you need to know. It's as easy as that. It's as easy as that. Just click on it. I think also the spacebar also works. You hear my spacebar? Yeah, I have blue switches on my keyboard, so they're quite loud. The right bottom corner here has 4 main map modes: the Navy one, the Army one, or default. This is the most of the times you're going to look at the map like this. The Navy one, the Army, the Air one, excuse me, and the operative map mode. These are the 4 main ones. You might also use the supply areas a bit sometimes, but the other ones you're really not going to use a lot. So those are the main things you need to know. These are all pretty easy to understand. Diplomacy screen. Now let's say we have saved up some political power and we want to become friends with the Soviet Union. So how do we do that? We go to the Soviet Union, right click on the Soviet Union and click on improve relations, and that way we get better relationships with them. That results in better trade, them less likely to declare war on us, and all that type of things. If you want to justify war on them, that's also possible over here, justify goal. Also cost political power, again a reason why you should save up political power. And now we just have to wait here, and we can look and expect it to finish 25th of August 1936. And after that we need to click on declare war. You can also guarantee their independence. What that means is that we guarantee their independence. If someone else declares war on them, we declare war on that person. We can, well, do all these, which is quite self-explanatory really. Send a attaché, well, then we can see where the troops are in war. Non-aggression pact, ask to join faction, negotiate licenses. So we can, so for example, I can, if they would accept, which they are not going to because it's an X, otherwise it would be like a little V thing. Then I could perhaps build PPSH or T-34s, that type of stuff. You can start to, well, exchange blueprints in a way. Send volunteers when they're at war. We can send them volunteer forces, like most of the time 3 divisions to fight with them. Expeditionary force are quite self-explanatory and request garrison support, which basically is just free manpower. Most of the times you ask that from your puppets. Very important screen. It's quite important. So make sure to understand it. I hope I did explain the bit. And lend-lease, of course, that means that we can give them guns when they're in, when they're at war. And request lend-lease, then we can basically ask them for infantry equipment, which they're not going to accept again, but whatever. And we can also see here what the country is, what their opinion of this is, their stability, their war support, what the government looks like, what they are doing for a focus, excuse me. Now we can see this, but most of the times you can actually not see this, and then it starts to look like, well, it appears we can still see it of everybody, but most of the times you cannot see it. National spirits, with whom they are friends, with whom they are allies, with whom they are at war, and all other sorts of things we can see here. Now, go into the research tab, because that's really all you need to understand about the diplomacy for now. The research tab. What is this? Research speed. Here it shows us all the bonuses or nerfs that we get for researching, or while researching really. You get these buffs by certain decisions, I think, and certain national focuses and certain advisors. So let's say if we picked industrial concern as our this thing, then we get extra 15% of industrial research speed, and we see that here then. That's a beautiful thing. Now we have 4 tabs, luckily. Sometimes, as I already explained, you have 3 or 2, or, well, 2 is I think the minimum. Now explaining these tabs, these are all the infantry equipment things, like guns, trucks, specialty divisions, commandos, and all that type of stuff. Support companies, these are all quite important, especially support companies when making division templates. These are all the things that you can add to that. Armor, basically just tanks. So for Germany, for example, this is incredibly important, but also for the Soviet Union, it's quite important. Here you can research the artillery. Usually I just go down this route. To be honest, I usually don't do the standard artillery unless I want to joke around a bit and I do anti-tank or something. But usually I only do artillery, to be honest. Also goes for infantry. I nearly never do special forces. Maybe sometimes marines, sometimes paratroopers, but nearly never special forces. Land doctrine, this is probably one of, maybe not the most important, but an incredibly important tab. If you're playing, in general, superior firepower doctrine is the strongest. Now there are some exceptions to this plan. Like mobile warfare is an exception, as Germany want to pick mobile warfare and do the blitzkrieg. And as the Soviet Union, you generally want to do mass assault doctrine. Ground battle plan really isn't a good one. I think nearly nobody picks ground battle plan. If you don't know which one to pick, just go for superior firepower, because superior firepower is good in nearly all instances. Well, naval, here you can research boats and certain extra research things for the variants, which I already explained. So, well, for example, as the United Kingdom and as Japan and as the USA, this is an incredibly important tab. Naval doctrine, well, it kind of speaks for itself. It's the same as the land doctrine. As the UK, for example, is really important, but generally, as for example the Soviet Union or Germany or what else, China, this is not really important at all. Actually, you should probably neglect this when you're playing a country like that. But as the UK or the USA or Japan, this is probably a bit more important. You can also choose certain types of this. I have not a lot of understanding of this. I usually go for trade interdiction, but that's because I play Germany. And as Germany, the wolf packs are really strong because you're really focusing on submarines. But I think as the UK, probably fleet in being might be a bit stronger. And as the USA, you might pick a bit more on the base strike doctrine, because you can build a lot of carriers. Or well, this has a lot of carrier buffs. But don't quote me on that. Air, important for nearly every country except the USSR. Really. Air is important as the UK, as the USA, as Germany, as Italy also a bit. So as Japan, as so yeah, maybe a bit less as China as well, a bit less. China and the USSR are really not that important on the air spectrum. Fighters, etc., kind of speaks for itself. I mean, everybody knows what a fighter is. Everybody knows what a close-up air support is, what a bomber is. Everybody kind of knows that. Come on. Air doctrine, I usually just go for battlefield support, but that's because I mainly play Germany. Perhaps as the UK, it might be completely something else. But as Germany, I know that battlefield support is incredibly important. So you usually go down this tree. Engineering, important for every country. I'm just immediately going to say that these two tabs are important for every country, industry and engineering. Always one of your research sphere tabs should be claimed for electronic mechanical engineering and then immediately go for mechanical computing. Simply because it gives you research speed boost, so it adds 3% extra research speed. And it's important that you get that as soon as possible, because, well, then it, well, has the most effect. Industry, also important. Also one of the first things you should start researching nearly in every country. Basic machine tools and construction, very important too. These are important. This one, as Germany, as the UK maybe, this one, as the USA perhaps a bit, I don't know exactly, I don't usually play as the USA, that's the thing. But these two definitely, and this a lot when you're Germany and the UK perhaps. Otherwise, as the USSR for example, you shouldn't even care about this, you should only go for production and construction. And that pretty much is the research tree explained. And now I explained everything that I wanted to explain in today's tutorial. Next week on Sunday there will be another episode 3 tutorial in which we'll talk well, about different things. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Again, if you like this, if you found this video was very handy, then like, subscribe and comment any question that you might have. So well, stay tuned and thank you for watching. Bye.